striving? In the constant chase for success, when was the last time you took a moment just for you? We're always on the go, rushing from one task to the next, barely pausing to catch our breath. What if we took a moment to pause? Imagine listening in, really listening, to the wind, to your heartbeat, to your soul. What if slowing down was the key, a chance to discover a deeper connection with yourself? And from that connection expand it to those you love, to the moments that truly matter. Pause, reflect, connect. It's time to live fully from the inside out. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to a Soulful Pause. I am so excited today for our guest, Beverley Glazer, and we are going to hop in just a moment. So let me just start by introducing myself. I'm Josette Diaz, and I'm a self-awareness coach. I specialize in working with high-achieving women who are in midlife, and I do that through creative strategies. So, if you are interested in exploring the creative strategies that help you find your own revelations, then you might want to take a look at my Art of Awareness, which is a membership. And this is where ladies support one another and reveal their subconscious mind through art. So, I would like to introduce my guest today. I have the beautiful Beverley Glazer, who is here, and she is a certified transformational coach and therapist with over 35 years of experience empowering women over 50 to rewrite the rules in their lives. She helps high-achieving women break through barriers, embrace their strengths, and create a life of purpose, confidence, and joy. Beverley specializes in guiding women to find fulfillment beyond success, gain clarity, and leave a legacy that truly matters. So we are all in for a treat. So let me bring Beverley on in here. Good morning, Beverley.
Hello.
How are you?
I am good now that we connected all the links and everything.
Yes, yeah.
Well,
That's
I,
what live's all about, right?
oh, yeah, I love your introduction
Oh, thank
because it
you.
really is about moving forward and taking time for yourself.
Mhm.
Find your passion.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And so I'd like, since you've brought that up, let's go ahead and dive in a little bit because I'd like to know what inspired you to focus on helping women over 50.
Yeah. Well, anyone listening that is 50 and up, and even anyone that's listening and is getting there, um,
Mhm.
you do know that women go through so many different transformations. And before 50, we have a direction. Um, Before 50, we get our education, we raise our kids, we have our families, and yada yada. We have a road, we follow it,
Yeah.
we do what we have to do. But life kicks in. And at around 50, we start losing our parents. Perhaps divorces happen, the children are leaving, empty nest, it keeps on going. And it doesn't necessarily get better going forward. And I have noticed this throughout my practice that women hold up the family. Women are the ones that hold everybody up. We're the caregivers.
Yeah.
We're kind of hardwired to be that.
Mhm.
And we are the ones that have that burden of, okay, what's next? And when it comes to retirement or even thinking of retirement, when it comes to, relationships or
Mhm.
so many different things.
Yeah.
Once we go from midlife further. Sometimes it hits us earlier, but it's just easier to get back on track when you're younger. And, and that's the reason for my podcast, which is Aging with Purpose and Passion, where you were on as well,
Yeah.
because it's all about keeping that passion and
Mhm.
overcoming those challenges. And so, long story short, Josette, that's why I do what I do.
I love that. You've brought up so many things that I think women can really resonate with, especially as you've entered into midlife and you've been moving through it. Um, I think that one of the things that you said that I thought was really poignant was it left me with the thought that I think that our expectations, we have a vision as we get older. We think, oh, well, when I'm 50, which when we're young feels older, like a
Yeah,
lot older,
very old.
very old. And when you get there, you start to really realize it's not that old. And your expectations of what you thought your life would look like can look very different.
Yes. Oh,
And when that happens, I think that it can be a time of real confusion, a time of real soul searching. And how do you um, help women start defining fulfillment beyond what they expected or what they think they're supposed to have as success in their older years, their golden years?
yeah. Well, I'm really glad you asked that question because often when you are in that muddle of confusion,
Hmm.
there is a feeling of despair.
Yeah.
It's that life was not supposed to be like that.
Hmm.
And, story after story, I mean, I've heard it, I'm sure you've heard it too. This wasn't the way it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And then again, there are also very successful women that I work with who feel even guilty that they feel
Yeah.
that they are missing that piece.
Mhm.
Because what I do is I work with fulfillment, and fulfillment has nothing to do with the goals.
Mm.
So if you're going on that journey and say, my life didn't turn out the way I thought it would be, and I'm depressed about that, well, you're just working on the goal.
Yeah.
And so when you reach a certain level, and I can give you story after story, and one in particular of
Yeah.
a woman who she just she built a business right from school, which happened to have just from nowhere
Mhm.
start thriving, and her brothers got into it and her family got into it, etc., etc. And today she is on top of her game. It's an international company. It's amazing, right? And
Yeah.
she has every right to achieve that. It's incredible what she has built. And the way I work with my clients is like you say, well, why is she coming to you? Why?
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
fine. And
Right.
she is fine. But where fulfillment is on the inside,
Mhm.
not on the outside. And she said, Bev, I can retire. It's no problem. I hired CEOs, I hired CFOs. I don't have to work.
Right.
I'm a founder. I can just continue collecting my dividends. But she said, I want to work, but like, it's not necessary. What do I do? She said, I want to open another business. But people said, like, what are you doing that for?
Mhm.
It's that conflict. So
Right.
by working with her on a fulfillment level, and yes, she can give to charities and she does, but we
Right.
have to take a look at our inner game. And
Mhm.
the inner self is, what is really your purpose? Was your purpose really to build this business? which happens to be a landscaping business, which has become international, And when you say, was that my purpose in life? Then, so for her, it's yes. I employ over 300 people.
Mm.
It's like I give jobs, right? But it's like, where am I in this picture?
Yeah.
So fulfillment is not about goals. Success is about goals. And so that's what we have to look at. Where is our fulfillment when we've reached success? And even if I am just working, am I fulfilled? You do
Hmm.
not have to reach success. Am I stuck? Is this an area I really wanted? And when we're in that muddle, we don't even believe we have a right to ask that question.
That's true. That is really true. I think that what you touched on so many things there. The one that really stood out to me it was when you were saying how fulfillment has nothing to do with goals, and I think that we often think it does. We think if we achieve this one thing, we'll feel happier, we'll be fulfilled, and we do wrap success in that too. So I really love how you like separated all of those different categories because they do have their own place in their own box.
Yeah,
How do women and how do you help women um, start to unravel some of those barriers, and what are those barriers that they run into in the process of you know, looking for their purpose. And one other thing before you answer that, I love that you mentioned that her purpose. Now, not everyone would think landscaping is a purpose, yet providing jobs, and it looks different for everyone, right? So that doesn't purpose doesn't have to be some big, huge thing, and I think we get wrapped up in that. We think we're supposed to, like, I don't know, write a book and do, a bunch of things, and it doesn't really necessarily mean that at all. It could be the smallest thing.
exactly.
So, can you, let me rephrase my question again because I took you down another road, but I wanna know what the barriers are that are most common of women that are reinventing themselves, and how do you help them with that?
The first barrier, I love the question, with women is guilt.
Mm,
The first barrier. It's like, why am I not happy with what I
yeah,
have? Or how can I achieve more when my family is at home and I have to have these excuses where you make excuses to yourself that I cannot do it, uh,
mhm,
that something is going to prevent me. With women, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not good enough, I'm too old. All those limiting beliefs
mhm,
that um, haunt us because they go right back to childhood
mhm,
and how we feel. And I have to tell you that everybody, no matter where the success train brought you,
yeah,
those limiting beliefs. And so we all have to overcome them as humans because they're hardwired. And
mhm.
note to self, I talk to myself too. Okay. and, and that's the thing. One of the things you have to overcome is, are these excuses? You have to ask yourself. Or do you have to just overcome it? How much do you want
Mhm.
it? You can put that on a scale because that self doubt is going to really bring you down the rabbit hole because it's scary to take that leap. It's
Right.
scary to call a coach and say, you know, I feel very uncomfortable about this, but and you say it, or like, why should I? Or, reaching out and asking for help is the hardest possible thing. And
Mhm.
this is why I always have anybody, or I was going to say my clients, they're not necessarily people that become my clients. Always you can reach out, always send me an email. I help everybody, I really do. It doesn't mean you have to work with me, and I don't
Mhm.
give you hours of my time, but certainly to put, just a little something so
Mhm.
that you can move forward. And that little something is very, very easy to define. I mean, I
Yeah.
have over 35 years of experience. I shouldn't say that it's not so easy, but it's click, click, click. You know,
Yeah.
confidence is something that's huge. Guilt is something that's huge. Putting these practical and impractical boundaries right there too,
Mhm.
like money. How can I afford to change? Okay,
Yeah.
what can I do? I don't have time. Okay, I'm so busy, right? We have to understand the value of our time. We have to understand to put in checks and balances and what is more important.
Mhm.
And when you're going to be making changes, Josette, it does not have to be huge changes.
Yeah.
It can be tiny little baby steps. All those little steps can lead to change.
Yeah.
And the fact is that you have a direction will give you even more change because you're not going to be thrown. You're going to save that little bit of money to the side because you're worth it.
Mm.
You have to start prioritizing your dreams, your
Mm.
love, where you want to go. And never, never, never say, I can't,
Yes.
because there's always a way. And
Mhm.
it doesn't have to be all or nothing. And this, I think, is huge, Josette. A lot of people say, I can't get there because, right?
Yeah.
It's not all or nothing. It's the baby steps that'll get you there. And any
Right.
woman that's been on a diet will understand that.
We all can relate to that.
It's the incremental changes. And if we don't change our lifestyle or our way of thinking, or perhaps you're putting too much time and energy into other people's worlds and you have to put more into your
Mhm.
own, all this kind of stuff makes such a difference. It's a mindset that really has to.
Yeah. I love that. It's so true, and I think that, what I've found for myself is when I do those little tiny steps, that as I continue down the road and it starts to come to fruition, I notice that the smallest steps I took were the most important.
Yeah,
They really kind of set the foundation. So I really love that advice and, that trajectory that you take women on. What would you, what kind of advice, since we're speaking about that, would you give women that are feeling stuck and uncertain and they're not too sure how to reach out? I think that sometimes, this is a very scary thing for women to actually make the call to dive in, to really start to search for themselves because it they don't know what it means for them.
absolutely. Um, this is exactly what I mean by small. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't reach out. Not perhaps that's too much, you know?
Yeah.
Follow that person. Join the newsletters. Start understanding who the person really is.
Mhm.
Hear what the information is. We all have our gut responses.
Yeah.
And, in this internet world, this crazy world we live in, as you know, everybody's an expert, everybody's a coach, everybody knows everything, right?
Yeah.
Be cautious, okay?
Mhm.
You
Oops. Okay, hold on, everyone. She will be right back. Somehow we lost her. Okay, here we go. As you were saying, go with your gut.
I know your gut. Yeah, good because I froze before I went
Shoot.
on my. Not you. It's Restream. So
Mhm.
really go with your gut, because you know what? You feel sincerity in people.
Mhm.
Only you have the answers, and they're all within us. So what a coach does is, or a therapist for that matter,
Yeah.
is not really telling you what to do.
Mhm.
You actually know what to do, but
Yeah.
it comes from up here to down there.
Yeah.
Or, like, a lot of my clients will say, Bev, you just gave me an aha moment. Oh, I get it. Okay. And it's true. It's like all of a sudden, ah, and that's it. You know,
Mm.
you know best for yourself. You know your environment. You know what you can or cannot do. I'm going back to the can and cannot, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But what anyone on the other end sees is also, maybe if you tried that, a little bit of a pivot, or how about that? So it's the
Mhm.
baby steps to get back to your question, really.
Yeah.
Go small as you need. And if
Mhm.
reaching out is too much, don't reach out. Just
Yeah.
following, just start listening, just start really observing, okay? And then take a little from just everybody that you feel has given you a little something. And
Mhm.
when you feel, okay, now I want more, I'm ready for more, you're the one that
Yeah.
knows. And then make a call, find out, schedule an appointment, you know, and it's not like, I have to say, this is only speaking for me. I never do the pitch at the end.
Yeah. No, I think
That's just
yeah.
because I hate being pitched. So,
Right.
but it's like giving information, that's another story. So do what
Mhm.
you need to get what you need.
Yes, I think that's really important, and I know that, many people do feel apprehensive about making that call because they don't wanna be bombarded with, all the stuff, and so if you do get that, then you have your answer, you know?
Absolutely.
Right?
And I just want to add, that, and I'm going back to the podcast which you were on,
Yes.
aging with purpose and passion. Okay,
Mhm.
which you could hear on Amazon. On Amazon, yeah, I think it's Amazon too. They have
Yeah.
podcasts.
Yeah, you have it everywhere.
Yeah, it's Apple, it's Spotify, wherever. Okay,
Yes.
you will hear women, every single woman who's had extraordinary challenges, and how they,
Mhm.
and that's motivating as well. And
Yeah.
that's the purpose of the podcast, to let you see that you could do it too. When
Mhm.
we hear other people, when we hear the challenges, very often it's like, your problems are not that bad. And that's
Right. Yeah.
because, when we're in our own heads, we think ours is the absolute worst. We're the only one that struggled through anything, right?
Right.
Because there's no
Yeah.
comparison. So, absolutely, that would be one of the babyest steps. Just
Right.
do something non-threatening, you know?
Yes. And I think that, like, especially, your podcast because it is women telling their stories,
Yeah.
and I think that what it brings for women that I feel is so important is that knowing you feel like you're alone in the midst of your issues, and to hear other women struggling with similar things, it really does help you to come out of your own shell and understand that, there are people out there that can help you and that have been through hard things too. Is there anything that you would like to end with? Because we are at the end of our time.
Sure. Um, Basically, when you're talking about change, it's really about personal growth.
Mhm.
And I'm going right back to your intro. I haven't heard the outro, but I'm going right back to your intro. If you want to know where you're going and where you want to go,
Mhm.
don't listen to anyone else.
That's right.
follow your heart. Okay.
Yeah.
It's all about having a heart to heart with yourself. And then, of course, it go into the action. But really, it's about changing mindset,
Yeah.
getting rid of the I can't, just starting to get rid of the limiting beliefs and listen to what's out there. Stories of other people in your situation, in different situations, women helping women, and not necessarily helping. You can always help somebody just by listening to other
Hmm.
stories. But what it is changing your mindset from I can't to just, and I'm not saying I can, but just
Yeah.
maybe it's possible.
Mm, I love that. It was such a pleasure to talk with you, Beverly. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
being here.
Thank you so much, Josette. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Well, everyone, thank you for joining us live. If you are here or listening to the replay, so happy to have you. And I'll be back next week. And Beverly information will be included in the notes below. So be sure to check out all of her links. You can reach out to her. Definitely go listen to her podcast. It is called, I don't want to mess it up.
Aging with purpose and passion.
Passion. Okay. And we will have the links there for you. So please be sure to take a listen to her podcast and subscribe. And you can also go to YouTube and subscribe to Seasons of the Soul. That is my channel. And I also have the Art of Awareness. And we will be starting a new art circle on February the 12th. So if you're interested, that link will be here as well.